The fluorescent lights buzz above me. My hands won't stop shaking. The card feels heavy, heavier than plastic should feel. 3 days sleeping in my car, 2 days with nothing but stale crackers from a gas station. Today, I'm desperate enough to try the one thing I swore I'd never touch. Next customer, please. I walk to the counter. My legs feel like they might give out. The teller is young, maybe 25, with bright red hair pulled back tight. She smiles at me, that polite bank smile that doesn't reach the eyes. How can I help you today? My throat is dry. I need to check the balance on this account. I slide the card across the counter. It's so old the numbers have started to fade. My father gave it to me on my 18th birthday. 26 years ago, a lifetime ago. Hi viewers, bye. Kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The teller takes the card, swipes it through her machine, tap, tap, tap on the keyboard. Then she stops. Her fingers freeze over the keys. Her face goes white, actually white, like someone drained all the blood from her skin in 2 seconds flat. Is there a problem? I ask. She doesn't answer. She's staring at her screen. Her mouth opens, closes, opens again. No sound comes out. Ma'am, is the account? She grabs her phone, punches a button. Mr. Garrison? Her voice is shaking. Could you come to station 3, please? It's urgent. My stomach drops. Of course. Of course the account is closed or flagged or frozen. Of course my father's last gift to me is worthless, just like everything else in my life right now. A man appears from a glass office at the back, 50s, yeah. Expensive suit, silver hair that probably costs more to maintain than my car is worth. He walks toward us with measured steps, the walk of someone important who knows he's important. The teller whispers something to him, points at her screen. His eyes go wide. He looks at the screen, looks at me, looks back at the screen. Mrs. Thatcher? He asks. Westfall, I say automatically. I went back to my maiden name. Or I will, once the paperwork processes. It's Pritchard, actually. Corinne Pritchard. He goes even paler than the teller. Ms. Pritchard. I'm Franklin Garrison, the branch manager. Would you please come with me to my office right now? The way he says it makes my skin crawl. Not angry, not suspicious. Something else. Something that sounds almost like fear. I follow him through the lobby. Other customers are staring. His office smells like coffee and leather, expensive leather, the kind Brennan used to buy before he kicked me out with nothing. Garrison closes the door, gestures to a chair. I sit. My heart is hammering so hard I can feel it in my throat. Ma'am, he says. His voice is shaking. Ma'am, you need to see this. He turns his computer monitor toward me. Numbers fill the screen. Too many numbers, too many digits, too many zeros. This can't be right, I whisper. I assure you it is. He pulls up another screen. His hands are trembling. Your father, Roland Pritchard, established this trust account for you in 1998. The card you have is linked directly to it. The account has been accruing interest for 26 years. How much? The question barely makes it past my lips. He points to the number at the bottom of the screen. $42,300,000 and change. The room tilts. I grip the arms of the chair. My vision goes blurry at the edges. This has to be a mistake, a hallucination. Maybe I'm still sleeping in my car and this is just a dream my starving brain cooked up. There's more, Garrison says. He's clicking through screens now, pulling up documents. The account includes stock portfolios, real estate holdings, and what appears to be partial ownership in several businesses. Your father was, Ms. Pritchard, your father was an extremely savvy investor. He started with very little, but over 30 years he built something remarkable. And he left all of it to you. I can't speak, can't think. Images flash through my mind. My father in his worn flannel shirts, eating dinner at our small kitchen table. His rough hands that always smelled like sawdust, the way he saved pennies in a jar on top of the refrigerator. Why didn't I know? I finally manage. According to the documentation, he wanted you to build your own life first. Make your own choices. The account was set up with very specific instructions. You could access it at any time, but you'd receive no notifications, no statements, nothing unless you asked. He wanted you to have it as a safety net, not as a crutch. Tears burn my eyes. My father died thinking I was happy. He met Brennan, shook his hand at our wedding, smiled in the photos. He never knew that his son-in-law was a controlling, manipulative man who slowly isolated me from everyone I loved. He never knew I'd need the safety net, but he made sure it was there anyway. There's something else, Garrison says quietly as he hands me a sealed envelope. This was left in the safe deposit box attached to the account. Instructions were that it should be given to you the first time you access the funds. My hands shake as I tear it open. The paper inside is yellowed with age, but my father's handwriting is still clear, still strong. Corey, if you're reading this, you needed the safety net. I'm sorry I'm not there to catch you myself. Whatever happened, whatever brought you here, it's not the end. It's a new beginning. I grew up with nothing, built everything from dirt and determination. The money in this account isn't about making you rich, it's about making sure you're never trapped, never powerless, never at someone else's mercy. Use it wisely, use it well, and remember, the measure of a person's isn't what they have, but what they do when they have the power to choose. I love you, sweetheart. Always did, always will. Dad. I press the letter to my chest. Sob. Real, gasping sobs that shake my whole body. Garrison quietly leaves the office, gives me privacy. When I finally collect myself, my mind is racing. $42 million. Real estate, businesses, stock portfolios. My father didn't just give me money, he gave me power. The power to rebuild, the power to fight back. And Brennan? Brennan kicked me out with nothing, thinking I'd be broken, thinking I'd come crawling back begging for scraps. His attorney laughed during the divorce proceedings when I asked for a fair split of assets. You contributed nothing, he sneered. You were a housewife. You have no skills, no income, no prospects. A cold clarity settles over me. I wipe my eyes, I straighten my spine. Garrison returns carrying a folder. I've taken the liberty of preparing some paperwork. If you'd like, I can arrange for an immediate transfer to a new account, one that only you have access to. I can also connect you with our private wealth management team. They specialize in situations like yours. Situations like mine? High net worth individuals who need discretion and strategic planning. He pauses. Ms. Pritchard, forgive me for being forward, but I looked up your name while you were collecting yourself. I saw the divorce proceedings. Your ex-husband is Brennan Thatcher of Thatcher Industries. I nod. A small grim smile crosses his face. Then you'll definitely want to speak with our wealth management team. They're very good at what they do, particularly when it comes to protecting assets and ensuring fair outcomes. For the first time in months, I feel something other than despair, something fierce, something determined. Yes, I say, I'd like that very much. 2 hours later, everything has changed. New account, new financial advisor named Petra Saldana. Hotel suite that doesn't smell like old fast food and failure. I'm sitting on a real bed with clean sheets, and Petra is across from me with her laptop open. She's sharp-eyed, 40s, the kind of woman who looks like she could dismantle a company before lunch and still have time for a manicure. Here's what we're going to do, she says, pulling up spreadsheets. First, we secure everything. New accounts, new passwords, new everything. Your ex-husband doesn't get to know you have resources now. Second, we review the divorce settlement. If there was fraud, and it sounds like there was, we can reopen the case. Third, we make strategic investments to grow your wealth, and if you choose to position you as a player in the same circles your ex-husband operates in. I don't want revenge, I say automatically. Then stop. Actually, no, I do want revenge. I want him to understand what he took from me, what he tried to take from me. Petra's smile is sharp as broken glass. Then let's get started. That conversation happened 3 months ago. Now I'm standing in my new apartment, downtown, floor-to-ceiling windows, a view of the city that makes me feel like I'm on top of the world instead of crushed beneath it. I review the latest reports spread across my dining table. My father's real estate holdings include 4 commercial properties in the business district. One of them houses Thatcher Industries' main office. His stock portfolio includes shares in 3 of Brennan's biggest competitors. And his business investments? One of them is a silent partnership in a manufacturing company that Brennan has been trying to acquire for years. Kellerman Manufacturing, the deal that was supposed to make Thatcher Industries a major player in the market. The contract Brennan was certain was his, except now I own controlling interest. My phone buzzes, a text from Petra. The board meeting is confirmed Thursday at 2 p.m. Your acquisition of majority shares in Kellerman Manufacturing is complete. You'll be attending as the new primary investor. I set down my phone, look out at the city lights. 3 months ago, I was sleeping in my car, eating stale crackers, trying to figure out how I'd survive the next day. Now Brennan Thatcher is about to learn that the woman he threw away like garbage owns the one thing he wants most in the world, and he has no idea it's me. I was 18 when my father pressed that card into my hands. His palms were rough, calloused from years of construction work. They felt like sandpaper against my soft teenage skin. "For emergencies only, Corey," he said. His voice was serious, the way it got when he really needed me to listen. "I mean real emergencies, not shoes or concerts. This is your safety net." I remember rolling my eyes. Typical dad, always worried, always preparing for disasters that would never come. "I'll be fine, Dad," I told him. "I'm going to college. I'm going to have a great life." He smiled, but it was sad around the edges, like he knew something I didn't. 2 months later, I met Brennan Thatcher at a coffee shop near campus. He was 28. I was barely 18. He wore expensive clothes and drove a car that cost more than my father's house. When he asked for my number, I felt like I'd won the lottery. He swept me off my feet, took me to fancy restaurants, bought me jewelry I'd never dreamed of owning, told me I was beautiful, special, different from other girls. By the time I was 19, we were engaged. By 20, we were married. I tucked the card away in a drawer. Forgot about it. I had Brennan now. I didn't need a safety net. My father died 6 years later. Heart attack at a job site. He was 52, too young, way too young. I was 24. Too wrapped up in being Mrs. Thatcher to really grieve. Brennan said the funeral was lovely, said my father had a good run, said it was time to move forward. I moved forward, into the life Brennan built for me. The Victorian house on Maple Ridge, the charity galas, the dinner parties where I smiled and played hostess, while Brennan's colleagues talked about deals I didn't understand. My father's card stayed in that drawer, gathering dust, waiting. I wish I'd used it sooner, wish I'd checked it before Dad died. Maybe if I had, I could have asked him about it, could have understood what he was trying to tell me, but I didn't, and now he's gone. And all I have is a yellowed letter and 42 million reasons to believe he loved me more than I ever knew. The memory hits me hard, standing at Dad's grave in the rain, Brennan checking his phone during the service. His hand on my shoulder felt cold and impersonal, like he was touching a stranger. "We should go," he'd said. "I have a meeting at 4. I'd wanted to stay, wanted to stand there until the rain washed away everything that hurt. But I went with Brennan, because that's what I did. I went where Brennan wanted, did what Brennan said. For 23 years, I disappeared into being Mrs. Thatcher. But Dad had seen it coming. That's why he made sure the card would be waiting. Franklin Garrison's office smells like expensive coffee, the kind that comes from beans you have to special order. The leather chair creaks when I shift my weight. He's pulling up screen after screen, numbers and documents and legal terms I don't fully understand. "Your father established the trust in 1998, Garrison explains. "Initial deposit was $50,000, not a small amount, but not extraordinary either. What's remarkable is what he did with it." He shows me a graph, a line that starts low and climbs steadily upward over 26 years. He invested in index funds initially, safe, steady growth, but then he started making individual stock purchases. Apple in 2001, Amazon in 2002, Google in 2004. Companies that seemed risky at the time, but that he apparently believed in. I stare at the screen. Those companies are worth fortunes now. He also purchased commercial real estate, Garrison continues. 4 properties between 2005 and 2012, all in areas that were underdeveloped at the time, but that are now prime business districts. The rental income alone from those properties is substantial. How much? I ask. Approximately 300,000 per year after expenses. 300,000 per year from properties I didn't even know existed. There's more. Garrison opens another file. He had partial ownership stakes in several small businesses. Most of them you probably never heard of, but one of them, Kellerman Manufacturing, has grown significantly. Your father owned 30%. When the founder died 5 years ago, his shares were split among the remaining partners. Your father's stake increased to 42%. 42%, I repeat. The number feels huge in my mouth. You're the majority shareholder, Garrison says, which means you have significant control over company decisions. The room spins again. Not from shock this time, from possibility. What else? I ask. He shows me more documents. Stock portfolios diversified across dozens of companies, bonds, mutual funds. A retirement account I can't touch until I'm 65, but that's worth another $8 million. Your father was a construction worker, Garrison says carefully, but he was also one of the most strategic investors I've ever seen in 20 years of banking. He started with very little and built this through careful planning and patience. I think about Dad's flannel shirts, the pennies in the jar, the small house with the chain-link fence. He could have lived in a mansion, could have driven a luxury car, could have retired early and spent his days on a beach somewhere. But he didn't. He lived simply, saved everything, built this safety net for me. Why? I whisper. Why didn't he use it for himself? Garrison's expression softens. The documentation includes a note from your father to his financial advisor. It says, "This isn't for me. This is for Corey, so she never has to depend on anyone but herself." The tears come again. I can't stop them. Dad knew. Somehow he knew I'd need this, knew I'd end up trapped, knew I'd need a way out, and he made sure it was waiting for me. Petra Saldana doesn't waste time. Within an hour of meeting me, she's laid out a complete strategy. Your ex-husband froze your accounts, she says, tapping her pen against her notepad. That tells me he's worried about you having resources, which means he's vulnerable. Vulnerable how? He hid assets during the divorce. You said the judge sided with him on every point? Every single one. That's suspicious. Judges don't typically grant one party everything unless there's bias or fraud involved. We'll investigate both. If we find evidence that your ex-husband manipulated the proceedings or hid assets, we can reopen the case. Hope flickers in my chest. Tiny but real. What else? I ask. Petra pulls up a spreadsheet. Your father's holdings put you in an interesting position. You own property that your ex-husband's company leases. You own stock in his competitors. You own a controlling stake in a company he's trying to acquire. These aren't coincidences. These are opportunities. Opportunities for what? Her smile is cold and precise. Opportunities to remind him that you're not powerless. That you never were. We spend the next 2 hours going through everything. Petra explains that the divorce settlement can be challenged if we prove Brennan committed fraud. She says we'll need forensic accountants to trace his hidden assets, us lawyers who specialize in complex financial cases. This won't be cheap, she warns, but you have the resources now. I don't care what it costs, I say, and I mean it. I want him to answer for what he did. Petra nods. Then we'll make sure he does, but there's something else you should consider. What? Revenge through the legal system is satisfying, but revenge through business? That's permanent. If you position yourself correctly, you can become a fixture in his professional life, someone he has to deal with, someone he can't ignore or dismiss. The idea sends a thrill through me, not just winning in court, winning everywhere. Tell me how, I say. Petra leans forward. We start with Kellerman Manufacturing. Your father owned 42%. I've been researching the company. They're profitable, well-managed, and exactly the kind of acquisition that would boost Thatcher Industries' market position. Your ex-husband has been negotiating with them for 8 months. Can we stop the deal? Better than that. We can buy more shares. I've identified 3 smaller shareholders who might be willing to sell. If we acquire their shares, you'll have 53% absolute control. My heart races. And then, you attend the board meeting. You vote on the acquisition proposal, and you remind Brennan Thatcher that he doesn't always get what he wants. I sit back in my chair, process what she's saying. This isn't just about money or legal victories. This is about power. Real power. Do it, I say. Buy the shares. Set up the meeting. I want to be there when he realizes what happened. Petra's smile widens. I was hoping you'd say that. Over the next 3 months, we move carefully, quietly. Petra handles the financial side, purchasing additional shares in Kellerman Manufacturing, securing my father's real estate holdings, diversifying investments. I handle the personal side, finding a new apartment, buying new clothes, rebuilding the life Brennan tried to destroy. But I keep everything hidden. No social media, no public appearances, no trace that Corinne Pritchard exists anywhere near Brennan's world. As far as he knows, I'm still broken, still desperate, still the woman he threw away, and that's exactly how I want it. Brennan changed slowly. So slowly, I didn't notice until it was too late. In the beginning, he was perfect, charming, attentive. He bought me flowers for no reason, told me I was beautiful every single day when it made me feel like the most important person in the world. But after the wedding, things shifted. Little things at first. Comments about my clothes, suggestions about my hair, hints that maybe I should think twice before calling my friends. We're building something here, Corey, he'd say. We need to focus on us, on our future. It sounded reasonable, romantic even. So I called my friends less, saw them less, eventually stopped seeing them at all. My father noticed. I remember him asking during one of our weekly dinners, back when we still had weekly dinners. Where's Jessica these days? And that girl you went to school with, Madison? They're busy, I'd said. You know how it is. Dad had looked at me for a long moment, like he wanted to say something. But Brennan jumped in with a story about work, and the moment passed. A year later, Brennan started suggesting I skip the weekly dinners. Your dad doesn't understand our lifestyle, he said. He's a good man, but he's not sophisticated. It's awkward when we bring him to events. I don't want to bring him to events, I argued. I just want to have dinner with him once a week. Brennan sighed, the patient sigh of someone dealing with a difficult child. If it means that much to you, fine. But I won't be joining you anymore. Those dinners are exhausting. So I went alone. Once a week, every Thursday at 6. Until one Thursday when Brennan scheduled a business dinner on the same night. You can see your father next week, he said, and this dinner is important for my career. I called Dad. Canceled. He said he understood, but I could hear the disappointment in his voice. The next week, another conflict, and the next and the next. Eventually, the weekly dinners became monthly, then every other month, then just holidays. Dad's birthday was on a Saturday in April. I'd promised to come over, bring a cake, spend the afternoon. But Brennan scheduled a last-minute golf outing with a potential client. I need you there, he said. Wives attend these things. It looks good. It's my father's birthday. He'll understand. Tell him we'll celebrate next weekend. I called Dad, heard the hurt in his voice when I explained. Promised we'd celebrate the following Saturday. 3 weeks later, Dad had a heart attack on a job site. Dead before the ambulance arrived. I never got that birthday celebration. Never got to tell him I was sorry for choosing Brennan over him again and again and again. At the funeral, Brennan checked his phone during the eulogy, during the burial, during the reception afterward. I'm sorry, honey, he said when I asked him to put it away. But this deal won't close itself. That should have been the moment I left. The moment I realized what I'd become. A woman who let her husband check his phone while her father was being buried. But I didn't leave. I stayed. For 17 more years. Until Brennan decided he was done with me and kicked me out like trash. Dad had been dead for 18 years when I finally used the card he'd given me. 18 years of silence from the grave. But he'd been preparing for this moment all along, making sure I'd have a way out when I finally needed one. He'd seen what Brennan was doing, seen me disappearing. and he'd built me a safety net strong enough to catch me no matter how far I fell. I just wish I'd been smart enough to see it sooner. Thursday morning arrives cold and bright. I stand in front of my bathroom mirror and barely recognize the woman staring back. 3 months ago, I had unwashed hair and dark circles under my eyes, clothes that smelled like old car seats and desperation. Now I'm wearing a tailored suit that costs more than my first car, hair professionally styled, makeup applied by someone who knows what they're doing. I look like I belong in a boardroom, like I have power. Because I do. My phone buzzes. Petra, car is downstairs. See you there. I take one last look in the mirror. This is it. The moment Brennan learns that the woman he destroyed is about to destroy him right back. The drive to Kellerman Manufacturing takes 20 minutes. The building is modern, all glass and steel and sharp angles, the kind of building that screams success. Petra meets me in the lobby. She's wearing red, bold, confident. She looks me up and down and nods approval. Ready? She asks. Ready. We take the elevator to the 8th floor. The boardroom is enormous. Long table, leather chairs, windows overlooking the city. 6 people are already seated. Board members I've studied but never met in person. Petra makes introductions. James Kellerman, the CEO and son of the founder. Patricia Vo, Chief Financial Officer. Marcus Landry, VP of Operations. 3 others whose names I commit to memory. They're polite, professional. They have no idea who I really am or why I'm really here. At 1:58, the door opens. Brennan walks in. He's wearing the navy suit I bought him for our 10th anniversary. His hair is graying at the temples now, distinguished, he'd call it. His attorney walks beside him. Same attorney who handled our divorce. Same attorney who sneered at me in court. Brennan doesn't see me at first. He's talking to James Kellerman, shaking hands, smiling that confident smile I used to find attractive. Then he turns, his eyes scan the room, land on me. For a second, nothing happens. He's looking at me but not seeing me, like his brain can't process what his eyes are showing him. Then recognition hits. His face goes white, actually white, the same color the bank teller went when she saw my account balance. Corinne, his voice cracks, what are you doing here? The attorney beside him freezes, looks at me, looks at Brennan. His briefcase slips from his hand and hits the floor with a loud thud. Petra stands, her voice is smooth as silk. Gentlemen, allow me to introduce Corinne Pritchard. Ms. Pritchard is the majority shareholder of Kellerman Manufacturing. She holds 53% of outstanding shares. The silence in the room is deafening. Brennan's mouth opens, closes, opens again. That's not possible. It's very possible, Petra says. Ms. Pritchard inherited her shares from her late father, Roland Pritchard, who was an original investor in this company. Over the past 3 months, she's acquired additional shares from other investors. She now controls this company. Brennan looks like he might throw up. His attorney looks like he wants to disappear through the floor. James Kellerman clears his throat. Well, this is unexpected. But let's proceed with the meeting, shall we? Everyone sits. Brennan and his attorney take seats at the far end of the table, as far from me as possible. The meeting begins. James presents the acquisition proposal. Thatcher Industries wants to purchase Kellerman Manufacturing for $85 million. The deal would give Brennan access to manufacturing capabilities he desperately needs. When James finishes, he looks at me. Ms. Pritchard, as majority shareholder, your vote carries significant weight. What's your position on this proposal? I take my time standing. Look directly at Brennan. His face is still pale, sweat beads on his forehead. I've reviewed the proposal carefully, I say. My voice is steady, strong, nothing like the desperate woman who stood in his driveway 3 months ago, Zippo, begging him to reconsider the divorce settlement. And I have concerns. Concerns? Brennan snaps. What concerns could you possibly have? You don't know anything about business. The room goes quiet. Several board members shift uncomfortably. I smile. It's not a nice smile. I know that your company has been struggling to meet production demands for the past 2 years. I know that you've lost 3 major contracts due to manufacturing delays. I know that acquiring Kellerman Manufacturing isn't just a growth opportunity for you, it's a necessity. Without this deal, Thatcher Industries will continue to decline. Brennan's face turns red. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? I pull out my folder. Petra helped me prepare this. Charts, graphs, financial statements. Your stock price has dropped 18% in the last year. Your profit margins are shrinking. You're over-leveraged and understaffed. This acquisition is your Hail Mary. His attorney starts to speak, but I cut him off. The proposal values Kellerman Manufacturing at $85 million, but based on current market conditions and projected growth, this company is worth at least $110 million. You're asking us to accept a lowball offer because you assume we're desperate. James Kellerman leans forward. You've done your homework, Ms. Pritchard. I have. I look around the table. I propose we reject Thatcher Industries' offer and explore other options. I believe we can find better terms elsewhere. You can't do this, Brennan says, his voice is shaking now. We've been negotiating for 8 months. We have an agreement. We have a proposal, I correct, not an agreement. And as majority shareholder, I'm voting no. Patricia Vo speaks up. I'd like to hear more about alternative options. Me too, Marcus Landry adds. One by one, the board members align with me. James Kellerman calls for a vote. One by one, they vote against Thatcher Industries' acquisition. The proposal is dead. Brennan stands so fast, his chair tips backward. This is insane. You're making a huge mistake. The only mistake, I say quietly, was thinking you could take everything from me and walk away clean. His attorney grabs his arm, tries to pull him toward the door, but Brennan shakes him off. How did you even afford? He stops. Understanding dawns on his face. The card, your father's card. I don't answer. How much? He demands. Enough, I say. More than enough. James Kellerman stands. This meeting is adjourned. Mr. Thatcher, Mr. Hollis, thank you for your time. It's a dismissal, clear and cold. Brennan's attorney practically drags him out of the room. But before the door closes, I call out, Brennan? He stops, turns. By the way, I say, I'm your new landlord. The building where your company leases office space, I own it. We'll be renegotiating your lease terms soon. His face goes from red to purple. You're joking. I'm not. He storms out. The door slams behind him. The boardroom erupts in whispers. But I don't care. I sit down. Let the satisfaction wash over me. Petra leans close. That was perfect. That was just the beginning, I say. The next 3 weeks are chaos. Beautiful, justified chaos. News spreads fast in business circles. Brennan Thatcher's can't-miss acquisition deal fell apart. The stock market responds immediately. Thatcher Industries' stock drops another 12%. Investors start asking questions. The board schedules an emergency meeting. Petra keeps me updated. She has contacts everywhere. People who owe her favors. People who owe her money. People who just like watching powerful men squirm. Your ex-husband is scrambling, she tells me over coffee. He's trying to find alternative manufacturing partnerships, but word is out that you tanked his deal. Other companies are wary of working with him. Good, I say, and I mean it, but we're not done. Petra files a motion to reopen the divorce case. We've hired forensic accountants who've been digging through Brennan's finances. They've found shell companies, hidden accounts, properties transferred to his brother's name. Evidence of fraud so obvious, it's almost insulting. The judge who handled our original divorce, Brennan's father's golf buddy, suddenly recuses himself, says he has a conflict of interest. A new judge is assigned. She's younger, sharper, not interested in good old boy favors. She orders a full audit of Brennan's assets, freezes his accounts pending the investigation. The same thing he did to me 3 months ago. Karma is real, and she's a vicious queen. Petra also handles the building lease. The property where Thatcher Industries leases its main office space has been owned by my father's trust for 15 years. Brennan's been paying below-market rent, some deal his father negotiated decades ago. We're within our rights to renegotiate, Petra says. Market rate for that space is triple what he's currently paying. Triple it, I say without hesitation. The new lease terms are delivered to Brennan's office on a Monday morning. His attorney calls within an hour. This is outrageous, he sputters. You can't raise the rent by 200%. I can, I say calmly. And I am. If Mr. Thatcher doesn't like the terms, he's welcome to relocate. Though I doubt he can afford that right now. The attorney hangs up without another word. That same week, 3 of Brennan's competitors launch aggressive marketing campaigns. They're targeting his clients, offering better terms, faster delivery, more reliable service. Petra smiles when I mention it. Interesting coincidence, she says. Coincidence? I ask. I may have mentioned to a few people that Thatcher Industries is experiencing financial difficulties, and I may own shares in those 3 competitors, through your father's trust. I laugh, actually laugh. For the first time in months, I feel light, free, powerful, but the best part comes 2 weeks later. Sienna, Brennan's girlfriend, the woman who moved into our house, is photographed leaving with suitcases. Lots of suitcases. The tabloids have a field day. Thatcher's troubles hit home, reads one headline. Executive's personal life crumbles alongside company stock, reads another. Brennan calls me. I let it go to voicemail. He calls again and again and again. Finally, I answer. What do you want, Brennan? We need to talk. His voice sounds rough, tired. Please, just meet me for coffee. One conversation. I think about saying no, about making him beg, but curiosity wins out. Fine, I say. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock, the coffee shop on 5th. Thank you, he says. He sounds relieved, grateful. He has no idea what's coming. The coffee shop is busy, afternoon rush, people in business suits grabbing lattes between meetings. I arrive early, choose a table by the window, order black coffee, and wait. Brennan arrives at 2:05. He looks terrible, unshaven, dark circles under his eyes. The expensive suit hangs on him like he's lost weight. He sits across from me, doesn't order anything, just stares at me like he's seeing a ghost. You look good, he finally says. I know. He flinches. Corinne, I don't know what to say. Then don't say anything. Silence stretches between us. Outside, cars honk. People walk past. Life continues like always. How much? Brennan asks quietly. How much did your father leave you? Enough. That's not an answer. It's the only answer you're getting. He runs his hands through his hair. It's graying more than I remember. You're destroying me. No, I say calmly. I'm not destroying you. I'm just refusing to let you destroy me. The lease increase, this is market rate. The divorce case is revealing fraud you committed. The Kellerman deal was undervalued. His jaw clenches. What do you want? Money? I'll find a way to pay you. Just make it stop. I lean forward, look him directly in the eyes. You threw me out with nothing. You froze my accounts. You made me sleep in my car. You and your attorney laughed at me in court. You took everything I helped build for 23 years and acted like I was nothing. I know, he whispers. I know I did. I'm sorry. No, you're not. You're sorry you're facing consequences. That's different. He looks away out the window, anywhere but at me. My father, I say slowly, left me a letter. He said the measure of a person isn't what they have, but what they do when they have the power to choose. Brennan looks back at me. Hope flickers in his eyes. I have power now, I continue. Real power. I could destroy you completely. Take everything you have. Make sure you never recover. But, he leans forward. But, I say, I'm not going to. His eyes widen. You're not? No, because I'm not you, Brennan. I'm not cruel just because I can be. Relief floods his face. Thank you, God, thank you. I'm not finished. My voice cuts through his gratitude. I'm not going to destroy you, but I'm not going to save you either. You're facing consequences for your choices. The divorce case will proceed. The judge will decide what's fair. Actually fair, not what your father's golf buddy decided. The lease increase stands. You can pay it or move. The Kellerman deal is dead. You'll have to find another solution to your manufacturing problems. That's fair, I interrupt. That's fair. You wanted to see what I was worth on my own. Now you get to see what you're worth when the scales are balanced. He looks at me for a long moment. The hope in his eyes fades, replaced by something else. Understanding, maybe, or just defeat. What about Sienna? He asks. What about her? Did you do something? I laugh. I didn't have to do anything. She left on her own when the money troubles started. Turns out she was just as shallow as you were when you left me. He flinches again. Good. Is there anything else? I ask. Because I have a meeting in 30 minutes. With who? The Roland Pritchard Foundation. I'm starting a nonprofit to help women escape financial abuse. Your donation will be very generous. His face hardens. You can't force me to donate. I'm not forcing you. The new divorce settlement will include reimbursement for marital assets you fraudulently hid. You'll pay what you owe. What I do with that money afterward is my choice. I stand, pick up my coffee, look down at the man who used to control every aspect of my life. Goodbye, Brennan. I walk out without looking back. 6 months later, I'm standing at my father's grave. The grass has grown over the dirt now. Someone planted flowers, probably the cemetery maintenance crew. Hi, Dad, I say softly. The wind rustles through the trees. Birds chirp in the distance. It's peaceful here. Quiet. I finally use the card. I kneel down, trace my fingers over his name carved in granite. I'm sorry it took so long. Sorry I didn't use it while you were still alive. Sorry I didn't understand what you were trying to give me. Tears slip down my cheeks, but they're different than the tears I cried 3 months ago. Less desperate, more grateful. You saved me, Dad. You saved me even though you weren't here to do it yourself, and I promise I'll make you proud. I'll use what you gave me to help other people. To be the kind of person you raised me to be. I stay there for a long time, talking to him. Telling him about the foundation, about the women we've already helped, about the life I'm building. Eventually I stand, wipe my eyes, look at the sky. I love you, Dad, always did, always will. I walk back to my car, a nice car now, but not too flashy. I don't need to show off, don't need to prove anything to anyone. That was 6 months ago. Today, I run a foundation helping women escape financial abuse. We've assisted 43 women so far, helped them find lawyers, secure funds, rebuild their lives. Every single one of them thanks me like I'm some kind of hero, but I'm not a hero. I'm just a woman who got lucky enough to have a father who loved her more than she knew, and who's trying to pass that gift forward. If you've ever been made to feel worthless, powerless, or invisible by someone who was supposed to love you, I want you to know something. Your worth isn't determined by how they treated you. It's determined by how you treat yourself, by the choices you make when you have the power to choose. To anyone fighting their own battle right now, your story isn't over. The ending hasn't been written yet. Stay strong, stay quiet. And when the moment comes, choose wisely. What lesson from this story will stay with you? And if you were in my position, what would you have done differently? I really want to know your thoughts. Don't stop here. Click the next video on your screen right now and watch another powerful story from our channel. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and share your answers in the comments below. See you in the next one.